All right, let's talk Sex and the City season 2, episode 7. Mm-hmm. It's called The Chicken Dance. So the episode opens, we see Miranda getting her apartment all dolled up with her interior designer friend because she has an out-of-town guest coming to stay. This is her friend Jeremy, a writer living in London. He's coming to scope out New York for a job. Miranda says they've been emailing and it's been getting a little flirty, so she's excited.
I love it. I love that this is the introduction of online presence. Flirty emailing.
Flirty emails.
Back and forth.
Miranda was always good on that. She like had a Palm Pilot and like
a Palm Pilot. Meanwhile, we see Carrie has been spending a lot of time at Big's place, so much so that he gives her her own toothbrush, and she is very hype about this. Marjon, where do you stand on Big? Is he a master manipulator? Is Carrie the cause of her pain? What's your thoughts?
Well, I had to contextualize this episode where we were in their relationship, like within the season, because I was like, wait, what's happened? Just zeroing in on it. It does look like she's crazy, but then you have to think about the fact that she doesn't trust this man, and she doesn't trust their relationship. I think there's a lot of they're just reconciling, and they've had a horrible breakup that like had her down bad, and so I when I saw the episode, I was kind of like, Carrie, baby, it's a toothbrush. But is Big a master manipulator? He's definitely he has fuckboy. I think he's a fuckboy. Mm-hmm. Yes, I think he's a fuckboy. Mm-hmm. I don't see him as like the great love of her life, like that she cheated, but like that for me, I'm like, I don't know. Because he just he was the personification of nonchalant.
Yes.
We're always nonchalant versus chalant. Yeah, he's the personification of nonchalant.
Oh my God, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Damn. Oh man.
I think I'm in the middle. I think he definitely is manipulative. I think he is obviously a fuckboy, obviously just like gets away with these non-answers constantly. But then also like with Carrie, like you're letting him get away with so much of this as well. It's in your face. You ask him a question, he literally doesn't answer, and she's like, okay, and moves on to the next. Like, so
she does.
That's where I'm at. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She didn't know how to communicate her needs.
Her needs,
yeah. And I think this episode really kind of explains that. I think, I'm sure we'll get into it a bit deeper, but one thing I was really worried about and mad at Carrie for was that she didn't take herself seriously in this episode. Yes. So I was kind of like, well, see, you kind of set yourself up for failure because you didn't take yourself seriously. So that's just my thoughts.
Okay. So Jeremy arrives from London, flat out tells Miranda, like, first thing, I'm tired of dating. I'm ready to get married. Wow. Just then, her interior designer friend stops by to drop off an end table, and Jeremy and homegirl just click, immediately connect, immediately hit it off. Jeremy invites her to join them for dinner, and then Miranda quickly becomes the third wheel. And I mean, this is just like a nightmare.
I should get Jeremy home. He must be jet lagged.
Actually, I feel great. I slept on the plane for once.
Well, I'm pretty beat.
Did you want to go?
Couldn't help but wonder.
I couldn't help but wonder.
Has this ever happened to any of you guys? A friend, a guy you liked fell for your friend.
Oh my God, no.
This is like a nightmare.
This is the worst.
This is the worst.
Yeah, that is the worst.
This is really scary.
It's very scary. I also peeped that Miranda was doing too much for a man that wasn't her man.
You know what I mean? Why are you buying all this new furniture?
Bought a sofa.
What?
Doing a lot. Side note.
Yes.
Side note, I think Miranda looks fabulous. I'm loving this current great hair era. Because sometimes her hair is looking real nuts. But this cut and this wax, whatever they got to do, it looked amazing.
They obviously got a bigger budget that season, and the girls were like killing it,
Killing it.
Yeah, they looked so good. She looked great.
She looks great. So a week later, Miranda throws him a going away party, again, doing too much. And mid-party, he gives a toast and tells everyone that him and Madeline, the interior designer, are getting married. So the ladies go outside, they're debriefing. They debate this whole, was it love at first sight? Like, what is this? Charlotte, of course, is like seeing the positive and is very encouraged and is like, well, you know, guys, if you're not dating today, you could be engaged within a matter of weeks. Like,
Well, I think this is encouraging. This means that even if you're not dating anybody, you could be engaged in a couple of weeks.
Or you could be dating someone for a year and be thrilled to get an electric toothbrush head.
and
That
Miranda,
reminded me of you. I feel like that was something you said.
Charlotte sounds crazy. It is true, though. It's true.
You're like, it's true.
It is. 1 minute you're just dating and single, and the next it just takes that quick moment. You find somebody, and then boom, your friend's gone. She's off for her man. Like, I see her.
It's true. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Samantha, she's just like, I don't understand this obsession with marriage. Like, this is ridiculous. They just need an excuse to like justify why they've been fucking all week. Like, that's it. And then Miranda's just like really going through it. She feels like she's invisible. She's like, what's wrong with me? Like, I don't understand what this is. Now, Carrie heads home, immediately calls Big, tells him about the whole, you know, people getting engaged, and asks him if he believes in love at first sight. He believes in lust at first sight and asks her what she's wearing.
Oh my God. Like, here he goes. Deflect.
He's like, girl, if you don't stop calling my house at 2 a.m. with these existential questions.
Right.
Questions. And I say that as someone who does this to my fiance all the time. All the time. I'm like, if you were walking down the street, your girl look just like me. You look at her, though. Like, I just ask these stupid questions all the time.
I did too. I'm like, were you checking her out? I know you were checking her out. What is your problem?
What is wrong with you? So Carrie, of course, now is pondering her question. Is it possible to still believe in love at first sight, especially in a city as cynical as New York? Now, Madeline, she's planning her wedding now, right? She asks Carrie to write a poem about love for her wedding. Marjon, as a writer, do you get requests like this all the time? Have you put a stop on your friends to stop asking me to write some bullshit for your damn wedding?
No, I don't get.
Could you imagine?
I never get any like requests to write poetry for people's weddings.
Checking.
I have to say, or like more like, you're my friend. Will you write this for free? And I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, I don't know about that. We'll figure something out.
We'll figure out something.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, at brunch, the ladies discuss this upcoming wedding that they're all like playing a role in some way, shape, or form. And Samantha shares that she met a guy at Miranda's party and they had sex. And while they're having sex, she was realizing she was having a deja fuck. She slept with him 15 years ago. What do y'all think Samantha's number is? Because this is crazy.
God.
She doesn't even remember. Couple in the hundreds for you to not remember mid-sex that you had sex on before, right? Oh, she's deep in. Okay. So we learn Charlotte's going to be a bridesmaid. This is her 8th wedding. She is so hype about her dress. She's got this sexy backless dress and is like defending this dress to the death. Nobody even asks her, but she's like, I'm gonna look amazing. She's defensive because she's tired of all these weddings and wearing these ugly ass dresses. Now, time for the wedding. Big invites himself as Carrie's date. Something about that feels manipulative.
It does.
Why are you doing that?
It does.
Why are you doing that? And you barely claim her.
Exactly. That's why.
It's
like,
little stuff like that, Marjon, that I'm like, why is he doing that though?
I did peep that. I was, because she's like, you're not coming. He was like, yes, I am. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, you are? Why?
Okay. But then he flips.
Then he flips.
Yeah, I'll let you finish.
Then he flips. Oh my God. So he comes by her apartment to pick her up. Love Carrie's dress, by the way.
I love the styling of this too. This was
beautiful.
A good Patricia Field moment with all of them. I thought actually,
they all look like hair on Samantha.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the old Hollywood looking hair is beautiful. So yeah, Big comes by the apartment. She wants him to sign the card. He doesn't want to sign. He's concerned as to why his name was even on the invitation. Like, has all these concerns suddenly for this wedding that he invited himself to, mind you.
Does he even know whose wedding this is?
Girl.
You know what I'm saying?
Does he know?
I don't think he knows.
No, he doesn't know at all. He doesn't. He doesn't know at all.
God.
So she's like, all right, whatever, and kind of like blows it off. It's not a big deal, and like moves on. Now, at the wedding, Charlotte's looking amazing in this backless halter dress and meets a hot groomsman who will be the one walking her down the aisle. So that's what she's got going on. Big, meanwhile, is looking bored the whole time. Carrie's still feeling some type of way about him not signing the card, obviously. Carrie goes up to deliver her poem, and while she's reciting the poem, Big gets a phone call and has to step out.
Had his phone on ringer, not even on silent. That's how little respect
it rang.
That was actually that was super disrespectful.
Oh, that's gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he excuses himself, dips, and that's when it kind of hits her mid poem. She's like, I can't even get him to sign the card. Like, this man is unserious. Like, she has a little glimmer of like recognition.
The future. Yeah.
So he comes back what seems like 30 minutes later. She said he missed the whole reception. He missed the cake, like all these things. He also doesn't want to slow dance. Like, he don't want to do nothing. He don't want to be here. So she...
That was crazy.
That was crazy.
I hated that part. Sorry.
No, I hated that for her too. Like, you missed my poem and then you don't want to slow dance because you don't like it. What do you... So
they
she
were
gets
just slow
pissed.
dancing last week at that old people jazz club. Oh, I'm so tired of him. Ooh.
When it's on his terms, you see?
That's the old people. He was.
Yes. So Carrie gets pissed, storms off to the bar with Samantha. Meanwhile, Charlotte is off falling in love with the groomsmen. The two of them head off to decorate the little honeymoon suite. They end up sleeping together, like a little quickie right there.
That's
and
hilarious.
Then when I love that for Charlotte. Mid-wedding.
It's like a little Samantha moment.
It absolutely was. So they come back down to the wedding. He introduces her to his parents, which is like a big moment for her. And while she goes off to have a little dance with the dad grabs her butt.
Wild. I feel like this happens though. I feel like this would be happening like the Republican National Convention. I feel like these people would be doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? This is very Republican behavior.
This is very Republican behavior. And the mom's like, so 53%. 53% energy. Yes.
Oh, God. So she tells the guy, he completely denies her, tells her she's wearing a slutty dress. And the way I would have punched him in the middle of this dance floor.
That was the Republican behavior. I was like, here you go. Now I'm a slut.
That wasn't
Exactly. So Carrie returns to the wedding. She was running around with Miranda doing like wedding stuff. And Big is like, oh, are you ready to go? And that's when she finally brings up the card and just kind of like word vomits. Like, I don't think we want the same things. Like, I at least want someone who will stay with me till the end of the wedding, at least. And then he goes, okay, I'll stay. He gives her like just enough, right? Just a little bit to just know that she'll be like fine. So they do the bouquet toss. Nobody catches the bouquet. Falls right in front of all four of them. So that was cute. No one, they were like, all right, see you.
Yeah, that was cute.
like, that's not for me.
Yeah. And then Carrie ends the episode walking away with Big, and she says, some people know they're meant to be together. I knew I was meant to go home and have cake in bed with Big. She's taking it one day at a time.
But not at all. But not, like never. She never does.
One moment at a time. One event at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. So yeah, that was the episode. So let's dive in. Her question, is it possible to still believe in love at first sight in a place as cynical as New York? Where do you guys stand on this whole love at first sight? Is this real?
Justine?
I think it is. I think it is.
Yeah, you said you believed in it.
I do.
Okay,
I do.
say more.
I have experienced of like very cosmic connection looking across the way at someone on the streets. For sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then it ended up being a very Mr. Big type of situation. Thank God I had more sense than Carrie. Let that shit go.
Right.
I have experienced that level of it. And I do think, Touche, like on New Year's 2019 into 2020, on your third date with Dave, he was in love with you, girl. Like Marjon, we were at a New Year's party. Natasha was like, "Oh yeah, I've seen this guy. Whatever. It's like our third date. You want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, definitely." Because at that time we were glued to get like glued, right? So I go, and Nate. By the time we got to the after party, Nate was coming up to me, and he was like, "I just like her so much. I don't know what should I do. I just like her so much."
Oh,
it was the best.
He was smitten pretty early. I
love that.
Early. Yep.
But that wasn't like at first sight, though.
It wasn't at first sight, but it was early.
It was definitely early. Yeah.
I think early can happen.
So we believe you can fall in love early, but at first sight, though, what do you think?
First,
I don't think it's real.
you've never looked across the way at somebody and been like,
But is that love at first sight? That's lust.
Yeah.
Love is so love. You got to be willing to move hell and high waters for this. Right? You're willing to sacrifice. You put your needs above this other person. How you do that for somebody you don't know? I think it has to be only lust. It can only be lust at that point.
have you ever looked across the way at someone and thought they're going to ruin my life?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
There's like prototypes and archetypes in the city where it's like been there, done that. I already know. You're very cute. Let me stay away from you because you're going to try to ruin my life. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And
lust. Is that not lust? What then is the difference between love and lust at first sight? Because they are very easily mistaken.
Yeah.
They really are. Maybe what I've had is a connection. And I don't know where that fits into this, to love and lust. You guys tell me, what does it sound like when you see someone and then you meet them and you're like, wow, this is like overpowering.
Yeah.
But I don't, is that love?
To me, that feels more like love at first sight rather than lust at first sight.
Okay.
Maybe it's mutual lust and it's like very powerful, maybe.
Right.
But when you meet them and you look at them in their eye and then you feel like nothing else is happening around you, that to me feels like love. I don't know. Right?
Then I've been in love many times.
All the time, then, right?
That's all it takes. I've been in love on the damn train. I've been in love on airports, parties. I don't. Because I think to your point, Natasha, it's like, love for me means like a lot of sacrifice and a lot of compromise, and you're willing to go like the distance for this person because they mean so much to you. So but I also understand like, your story around your husband being like totally smitten with you so early on. And I feel like that spark, that is like a real telltale sign for true, like there's something here. And I feel like with every boyfriend I've ever had, I've had that early, like, this is different because we also know the opposite feeling when we are pulling at someone to show their affections, to put in some effort, like, and they just won't. So that's, I don't know. I don't know how to just describe it.
Yeah. I think it's such a thin line between love and lust, and they often get mistaken. Like very easily. I think people in general love the early feelings and the excitement and the butterflies and that little dopamine, whatever that is, the falling in love stage. I think we all love that stage. You literally become crazy. You're obsessed. You're filled with joy and happiness all the time. Like it's a scary feeling, but we all love that feeling. We're all kind of chasing that feeling. But unfortunately, I think that feeling feels similar to lust, where you're like, there's like an intensity to the feeling that feels very familiar. With lust, it's definitely more attached to the sexual connection, the physical attraction, but it's the same old excitement, butterflies, like it's the same dopamine, like it feels so similar. But I think it takes I think it takes a lot of self-awareness to be able to tell the difference.
Yeah, I agree.
Right?
I agree.
And I think still a lot of grown people don't know the difference. They still are like, that's my love. And it's like, is it? I don't know.
I agree. That's what keeps TikTok running. Stories of people being like, and then he turned into a completely different person. And I'm like,
yeah. Which I have empathy for those people because I think it is really hard to decipher the difference between the two.
Oh, absolutely. It takes a long time to get to know somebody. But maybe it takes a short amount of time to know if you want to go there with them. Maybe Now
you were saying, Marjon, you believe that it can take a little bit of time to fall in love with somebody. What is that? What is realistic to you? Like, how long do you think?
Oh, I don't think it's I don't think it takes a long time to get to fall in love. I'm saying it takes a long time to get to know someone. Meaning, like, I think you probably know if you love someone probably like 2 to 3 months into dating. I found, and you could typically, but if you know, for instance, within this couple, you know, if you're saying it within a couple weeks, that is interesting to me. Because I think getting to know someone is what makes you fall for them harder, right? Where you're like, I love that you take care of your family in this way. I love that you show up for your friends in this way. I love that you're so ambitious. I love that you're, because if you zoom out, this character, Jeremy, he came to the city and he didn't have a job. And he was looking for job prospects. And I was like, wait, that's a very interesting tidbit, about this person, where I was just like, wait, that may come to play out interestingly in their future, right? Because he was like working at The Economist, but he wanted job prospects, and like, I don't know. I was thinking about that, and I was like, how did you afford a wedding at the Plaza? There was just a lot of things where it was like, when you get to know someone, you really start to figure out how they run their lives, how they run their money, how they run their work. I mean, and that's when you're like, oh, I can really trust this person as my partner. But maybe I'm just thinking like a jaded New Yorker. I don't know. It's like too much in my head.
No. But on the point with Jeremy, because I thought it was very interesting. He came, he had no job, right? He's here for job prospects. He also was announced, I'm done with dating. I want to find a wife. Like, I'm ready to get married. And then literally the exact next woman he meets, he marries.
Yes.
Are men more prone to this foolishness?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Another thing Miranda says in future seasons, she talks a lot about the man's light being on. When the man's light is on, he's ready to go. He finds his wife. Boom. So is this a difference, men and women? Like, men, they are more prone to this, you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you think women have there's just so many more bad bitches than there are men who are, you know what I mean? Like, the likelihood of you running into a bad bitch on the street is so high, especially in a city like New York, versus if you're man, if you're a woman looking for a man, you really got to dig.
Yeah, you do. I completely agree with you. Women are, beautiful women are so superior, and they're all over.
They're all over.
City. And men have plenty of options, and women who are really looking for someone serious, it's so much harder.
Yeah.
It's so much harder. So I do agree that men are much more susceptible to foolishness like that, where they're like, you're great. Like, let's try this, and, and I also think that the show often pushed that men had so much power in the marriage game, and because they either withheld or they gave. Like it was a lot of that in Sex and the City, because I think that's what dating looked like at the time. And they held the cards towards your success, which was getting married and winding up in love and having a kid and all these things. We know that is a form of success, and it's like a beautiful, wonderful thing, but it's not the only thing. So I don't know. There was when I think about Sex and the City and the conversations around marriage, it does seem that men had a lot of the power in these types of things, and they held a lot of the chips, unfortunately. And this is a very good example of that.
Yeah. I mean, we even see it with Carrie. I mean, one of the reasons she broke up with Big, I think initially, we're in season 2. Yeah, last season was he told her he didn't want to get married again. She finds out kind of offhandedly that he was married before. And he tells her he doesn't want to get married again. And then she then starts to contemplate, well, do I actually really want to get married or what? Like now she's debating what she wants in favor of him holding the power in her eyes of like the future of their relationship. It's up to him and what he wants to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah. So something Samantha says this episode is we're obsessed with marriage. She's like, that's why they're getting married. This is all bullshit. They want to get married. It's our obsession with it. Do you guys think that our society's obsession with marriage has anything to do with people maybe make-believing and falling in love faster than is actually possible? Because they're trying to make that thing, that destination happen.
I mean, I definitely think so. I think that the marriage economy is so big and so successful because it's built upon a lot of hopes and dreams and pipe dreams and things of like marriage is a way to solve a lot of problems or, whether they're money problems or he's just not faithful enough. I'm sure if we get married, things will change or they don't live in the same country. So if we get married, then, there's a lot of like things that are placed, a lot of pressure that's placed on marriage. But we also, as a culture, we also make a joke out of marriage consistently.
Yes. We take the piss out of marriage so much.
In so many different forms, in so many different television shows, and so many different casting rooms.
I mean, it's so funny. Like we'd say, gay people can't get married, but straight people can get married to complete strangers on television shows.
Makes no sense.
Because you're talking about the sanctity of marriage, and I'm like, the sanctity of marriage? Like, what the fuck? Like, it
Since
does.
when?
It's like so flimsy, but it's also so important, and it's like so many different competing messages are sent to us about marriage, and then people are like, oh, well, maybe I can get a divorce, and I think people also have that type of cynical outlook too. So I definitely feel like our obsession with marriage plays into people getting married when they probably shouldn't. No. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think Natasha and I talked about this recently off mic about motherhood, about how so many women are obsessed with the goal of being a mom, get to being a mom, and they're like, wait, what? This is what I was dreaming of, right? And I think that's the same with marriage a lot of the time. Even we saw our lovely, lovely Reese from Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders. She married the first man she saw on Instagram.
Oh my God, yes.
Baby Reese, that's true.
Little baby Reese.
Oh, Lord.
She said, I'm praying for my husband for the Lord. Scroll, boop, and found her husband. That was it. I'm sure that's her husband. He loves her so much. So much.
Yeah.
But could she have dated around a little bit? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We didn't have to the goal of marriage really clouded. Like she DM'd him. What? And now you eating elk with this man on TikTok. Like what? Like what are we? You know what I'm saying? We're eating the moose you shot.
literally though.
And doing a TikTok cooking tutorial? What?
Wow. Is it like I haven't followed them after this show, so this is actually amazing.
He up there with his baby face, one chin hair, talking about, hey
One
guys,
chin.
this is
He
my
doesn't
recipe.
have a chin, actually.
I
so.
know. Poor thing. So cute.
I know.
He does all the cooking, and they get 85,000 likes because there's so many women out there who want to be exactly like Reese. And Marjon, I'm sure you're very familiar with this, being from Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That show actually was super triggering for me for so many reasons. But I thought it was incredible. I thought it was an incredible documentary. But you're so right. There's so many women that do buy into this idea of marriage and motherhood is the end all be all. And I think also right now there's a very interesting point in culture because reproductive rights are obviously at a risk. I mean, Roe v. Wade was already overturned, so we are at risk. But I think I saw an article recently. It was talking about how this push of like Mormon mom TikTok and Nara Smith and the rise of women who are trad wives. And that was like a way to usher in and repackage this model that had been lost around marriage and motherhood being the end all be all. And I'm not pooing on domestic life at all. I just think there is an unhealthy obsession with it for sure. You know, because it may not be for you. Like at the end of the day. So yeah.
That's interesting. So you're saying it's like the counter argument to the last few years of girl boss and independent women, entrepreneurial women. We're doing our own thing. They just ushered in this other movement of, no, don't forget, like, you're supposed to just want to be in the house and get married.
Yeah, and it's very funny though. It's a very conflicting message because these women are also getting paid a lot of money, right? Like Nara Smith is a celebrity and she gets paid a lot of money.
Yeah,
and that the woman on the ballet farm girl, she makes a lot of money off of her work as well.
Girl, she got protein powder. She got product.
Oh,
I didn't know she had product, but like. It's repackaged very differently, right? Like women, you can still, make money and like, but you have 7 kids to rear, and you're probably exhausted. And so I don't know what they're trying. Well, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get us back in the kitchen.
But also working. That's
on podcast into the kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're trying to make it look very sexy because they're like, there is a financial reward at the end of the day. But the man is still like at the head of the household.
Yeah.
And,
right.
Yeah. Sorry, I turned this off into another.
No, that's true. I think even a couple weeks ago we had Danielle Robay on, and we were talking about something similar. And she said, "The closer you are to a man, the more power you have in the country." And that's just like what it is. You know what?
That's
like,
a white one.
On a patriarchal standpoint, and I even think like, is that for not just New York, not just a city where women are thriving. That's probably true in a lot of places in the United States. I
think
still,
so. Is she saying that having a man is a status symbol?
Having a man gets you closer to having probably goals that you would have as a single person, like having a house, owning property, etc., like stuff like that.
Having a double income,
basically.
Right.
Because we were talking about Miranda buying her house as a single woman, and she kept having chick check single.
Yeah.
And Danielle just brought up this point that when it comes to marriage, the closer you are to a man on paper, the better you look.
I mean, it's like this feminist meme wants to say that's not true, but it probably is true.
I think it is true.
I think that to make it intersectional, I think white women really believe that proximity to white men is definitely a source of power. Yeah, it's a source of power and status, and they're willing to maintain it even if it is against their best interests, because they're much more like loyal to their race than their gender. Yeah. So Yeah. Unfortunately. And I definitely remember at a time in my life thinking that being in a relationship was like the prize. And it was what you should strive for. And there's something intrinsically wrong with you if you can't maintain a relationship and a healthy one and all these types of things. And I think it still is very much considered a part of adulthood.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you haven't figured that out, you're not really
an adult.
Yeah, that is true. Oof.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, the obsession with marriage. I mean, we could talk about this forever. It's just such a, it's such a, and I am married, right? I strove for the thing, and I'm happy, that I did that. I'm not like regretting it, but there is something that can be very toxic about that obsession with reaching that final destination.
Yes. Yeah.
And so many, I'll say women in general, making a lot of bad decisions based on that false destination that they made up in their head that they need to achieve. We just watched Love is Blind. We're seeing the whole fallout of the Tyler Ashley drama. Ashley, beautiful dark-skinned woman on Love is Blind that we were ready to ride for, for whatever she wants. And it's, again, we're watching another season of, again, a beautiful dark-skinned woman get completely played, get completely made a fool. But then we see, because people are now coming for her like crazy, we're seeing how her obsession with the prospect of being this man's wife, of being in a marriage, allowed her to overlook so much bullshit. And then you also couple that with age as well. When we reach a certain age, we feel like we have to just put up with the nonsense because this might be it. And it's just really, obviously very toxic. And it's just a dangerous narrative that we like are so obsessed with. And we need to break down like why that's one, not true, that being married equals anything like different. And yeah, I'm personally tired of watching it on TV, like seeing people like Ashley getting carried away with this obsession and not seeing clearly.
It's like what I was saying earlier. I was like, these are goobers. Like you're kind of making a mockery of marriage. When you're like, marry this total goober who's like a sperm donor, but he's not actually a sperm donor. And I didn't watch this season of Love is Blind, but I followed along on social media, like kind of the reactions. So I know vaguely what's happening. But I agree with you. I think a lot of people do turn a blind eye to have their fantasy and to maintain their fantasy. And, again, it's like, I would love to be married one day. I would love to, at least have a kid. I don't need a whole, like a lot of kids. I just want one kid and that'll be good and great. And I do think there's so much joy and beauty in like, sharing your life with somebody and having like a roll dog. So I understand that. But I think also you have like women have so much more to lose when we get married.
Yes.
So we have got to be more intentional and discerning about it. Like that, that is some part that I wish that we were taught more of. Like if you want to get married, fuck yeah. But like, make sure he's not an idiot who's going to leave you crazy on the internet.
Life.
On television, ruin your life. Marjon,
Yeah.
as an all-girls school graduate yourself, as we are as well, don't you think that should have been taught more in school?
Absolutely. Oh my God. Like
God.
I totally agree. I feel like I've unlearned so many things just because we were taught maybe tacitly very toxic behavior around socialization and boys and what to put up with and all that stuff. I think I would have loved my mother or some elder to sit me down and be like, this is really what you should be looking for in a partner. Like this is absolutely imperative. And these things are not. Like I think that but I had to learn on my own the hard way. But it is what it is. But I definitely think making women understand that someone can ruin your credit. Someone can ruin your health, your self-esteem, can hold you back professionally. So you really have to be with someone who wants the best for you. But that's not the message that we're given. We're often given the pick me, and we're often, supplied with the knowledge or the message that being single is a punishment. And for like failure. Yeah. So, but it's a lot of things. When you turn that corner, I'm 41, and when you turn that corner of your 40s, a lot of things do rush at you at once. So, people be making decisions.
Making decisions, yes.
I mean, they do. They rush, and I think actually, one of my best friends said to me, my boyfriend and I were having a really rough time, and she was just like, "Listen, you're not divorced. You don't have any kids. You in a lot of ways have a clean slate." So, yeah. So I think that allowed me to think about things differently and rather put so much pressure on myself, because I think it's an enormous. It'll take over you.
Yes,
put the pressure on yourself.
Yeah. I think that's what it is, though. We got to teach young girls discernment. If we're going to give them the message of like, you need a husband to protect you and you need to find, you need to chase marriage and have a partner and blah, 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 blah. We need to also they need to teach us how to do it, how to make the right decision. Because when I go to college after all girls school, there's guys everywhere. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know how to discern who's good for me and who's not. Like,
exactly.
So we can't have one message without the other. Yeah.
I think Sex in the City was my...
That's what taught us. That's crazy. These white women were teaching us what to do. Like,
I was like, well, Carrie said, actually. Interesting that you bring that up,
Oh my God. So before we hop off, Marjon, you did say you have a Carrie theory that almost got you canceled. Is that what you said? What is this theory? Please share it.
Like Gen Z was like, "Fuck you, shut up, old." And I was like,
oh my God, terrible.
I don't even know why I waded into the pool, but I like Threads a lot, and I think it was it Sunday? I think it was Sunday. I woke up and I saw some person talking shit about Carrie Bradshaw, because the cool new thing is to be anti-Carrie Bradshaw online.
Yeah.
And she's toxic. She's a bad friend. She's not a girl's girl, like all these types of things. And I had grown frustrated because I was like, this is like the 5th woman over the age of 40 that you've dragged. The social media has dragged in the last year. And I was like, I can't do this. This is like, it's lazy. It's hack. Like, no. So I say this in a thread. I was just like, it's so lazy, so hack with these anti-Carrie Bradshaw takes. I really truly believe that she impacted the way that modern women live their lives, the way that they do in this city. Like it's not really up for debate, but like I'm putting out there for there to be a discourse, I guess. I had a lot of people who came in quick who were like, I totally agree. Like, yes, period. And then the torrent of like anti-Carrie Bradshaw threads just came for me, and they were like, oh my God, guys, we have a Carrie Bradshaw sympathizer. I was like, a sympathizer?
Oh my God. Oh, it's like that.
I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you that's crazy. I mean, I was like, what are you acting like I have right-wing politics? Like, all of a sudden, I was it was so crazy. But there was a lot of backlash. They were like, she's cute, but she's toxic, and I don't fuck with her, and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, wow, like, I did not know that there was just so much, like, anger towards Carrie Bradshaw for this younger generation who, I don't know. Who think they're above it all?
Who think they're above it?
Yeah. They do. They have very little. They have a lot of like 90-second bits of knowledge and a lot of therapy terms that they are able to use effectively. They do not have a lot of wisdom, and that is not their fault. They are very young.
No. Yeah. Yeah.
And so they have very little empathy, even if it's for characters on a television show.
Oh, well, that was another thing. I was like, Marjon, you got to get out of this because she is a character on a television.
She's a character.
Like the same way I have a sense of detachment from Housewives. I have to have a sense of detachment with Carrie Bradshaw, even though she was like very instrumental. And I have said this before. I believe like the Pink Print in so many ways. Like she showed you what modern living looked like for independent women who were not married, who had a career and had like, who are of a certain means. And I wouldn't say this is for every city woman. But you could move to the city and you could start a career and you could go out to dinner with your girls and you could get your drinks and you could, sleep with men who were interesting, powerful, toxic, wrong for you, and you had your girls. And I think that hadn't necessarily been praised as much as it was when Sex and the City, had its run. And and then I started thinking even more broadly, like if the success of And Just Like That had actually been bigger and like, because we.
It is tragic. That show is a tragedy.
Just roll down the street.
Literally roll down the road.
But like, you don't think like if And Just Like That had been successful, I don't think that the legacy of Sex and the City would have been so open and vulnerable to critique. In the way that So if you come into Sex and the City from And Just Like That, you're thinking Carrie is a goober. Yeah, true. Because that's not the Carrie I know. Yeah, and then, and then you go back and you're like, this goober did this and that, and like and so on and so forth. Okay. So I felt like there was a chip in the armor already, and then it just like widened and let in a lot of people who were younger and who were like, who took for granted a lot of things that she kind of set up.
Yeah. And they probably also he was ready to throw bones for Carrie.
I deleted it. Girl, I deleted it?
Was
going viral. It was there were like hundreds of replies, and I was like, it's Sunday.
Wow. I can't. Yeah.
Oh my God, no.
They were mean.
Yeah, they are mean though, Marjon. This happened last time with Taylor Swift, and this be happening with
that's true. Our Taylor Swift clip.
Our Taylor Swift video went nuts. You didn't know that,
What
Marjon?
happened?
Oh my God!
What did? Tell me.
When you were on last time to talk Potomac, we were talking about Taylor. She had just performed there. Well, we're gonna send you the video.
Yeah.
Taylor had just performed or something. And we were talking about her.
She was in the audience of the Chiefs game, and it was just when she was dating Travis Kelce.
Right, okay.
And we were talking about her look and how average she looks. And regular, and how that's like a system that's obviously set up by a lot of people, that she is very regular looking, right? And the way Marjon TikTok sent a notification to us and was like, you guys are being bullied right now. You want to shut off these comments? Marjon, it was so bad. It was so bad.
Wait, how was I not aware of this? Like, I don't know. Wait, because you know what? It's so funny. This is not the second time that I have trash talked Taylor Swift and gotten in trouble.
Yeah. Oh my God, they come for you. The Swift.
I was on. I feel bad. Now I feel like I need to send you guys something. I was completely checked out. I was like, let me send a care package. That's how sorry I am. Because I was just talking shit.
But we all were, and it was it was a nice little clip that it was a great clip for social. Did we know that the Swifties were going to come for us like that? No.
What were they saying?
Oh my God, horrible. You dirty monkey, how dare you? Look at your hair.
Dirty monkey?
Oh yeah. It gets racist real quick. It gets racist so quick over there. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so we're syndicated. But like we said what we said. I just had no idea. Wait, this is actually super disturbing to me. And I think this is why I get so mad about like just doing it's a very frustrating place to be, to have a lot to say, to be on the internet. Yeah. And you like, you know, in your heart of hearts, I'm right. Because we touched a nerve.
Clearly.
Exactly.
Yeah, clearly.
We touched a nerve. Yep. It's like, yeah, your girl is basic, and so are you.
And so are you. You're actually striving for basic, which is worse.
Yeah. Like I'm checking the notes, and it's like, okay, so you've proven yourself to be basic and a racist, and yet we're wrong. Like, I don't wait, I had no idea this was happening. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, don't
apologize.
This just happened too. A couple weeks ago. I get it bad because I said I was Team Hannah from Love Is Blind. People hate Hannah. People hate it. And just the other day on my friend Tracy's podcast, she was like, "You defend the worst people."
As is your right. That's how
I feel. Opinion. Like, this is a discourse.
Yes.
Like, these are people who don't know your name. Like,
you do not know them. Like right.
You've got to have a sense of, like I'm saying, a sense of detachment. I think being heated and passionate about like world politics makes total fucking sense. It makes total fucking sense. But to be mad about me calling Taylor Swift basic, or saying that Carrie Bradshaw is the reason why you don't live in a flyover state in the Midwest anymore. You're trying to make it as a content creator, right? Because I'm just trying to give you some history.
Yeah. Talk to these kids, Marjon. Talk to these kids.
I will. But I'm scared of them too.
I know. I'm also terrified of them.
So scary.
Yeah, they're crazy. They're nuts.
Like,
oh my God. On that note, we end every episode trying to figure out if this episode taught us anything. Justine, do you want to kick us off? What did you learn this episode?
Oh my God. Don't be obsessed with marriage. Leave the bouquet on the floor when it gets
tossed to you.
I love that moment. That was a great one.
That was.
It was a good moment.
Yeah. I think I learned from our discussion the thin line between lust and love. And yeah, if like with Carrie, if your heart and your head and your body is stopping you from releasing that fear, it's probably just lust.
Yeah.
Because I think love, I don't think a lot of that fear is there even.
I agree.
So that's what I learned. How about you, Marjon?
I totally agree. I think it was about, I'm pro marriage, I'm pro motherhood, but I am pro discernment as well for women.
I love that. We're pro discernment. Yeah. I love that.
Yes.
Oh God, Marjon, thank you so much for joining us. This is so much fun.
This was so much fun. I am so happy to be on here. And you guys will come back on the second season of Your Favorite Auntie, which is coming back in January. So we will talk housewives
reunions
or
probably by then. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Probably. Yeah. It'll be good. It'll be
nice. Good. Well, look out for Your Favorite Auntie podcast coming back, y'all, and follow Marjon on all the stuff. We're gonna tag all her info below. Sound off in the comments, guys. We had a lot of different conversations on this one episode, so let us know what y'all are thinking. Rate, review, subscribe, join us on Patreon, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.